before the dinner party, Miss Putya excused herself from the invitation Dilnawaz had extended against Gustav's express orders. Miss Putya explained that when she sat down to breakfast that morning at the table's very center was a lizard, motionless, staring insolently, flicking its tongue. If that wasn't bad enough, when she wrenched her leathers apart from her left foot and whacked the lizard dead, its tail broke off and continued to wriggle and dance at the top table for at least 5 minutes. That, said Miss Putya, was a definite omen. She was not going to step outside her home for the next 24 hours. The news had Gustav laughingly uproariously till Dilnawaz threatened to turn off the stove and put her spoon down permanently. I will see where your laughter goes when your silly Dinchorji arrives and the chicken is still uncooked. Sorry, he said, struggling to keep a straight face. I was just imagining the lizard sticking its tongue out at Putya. He tried to get busy and help in the evening's preparedness. Where's the safeguard here and monkey nuts to serve the drink? I'm walking around with them on the top of my head, she finished stirring something on the stove and dropped the spoon with a loud clatter. In the jars, where else? Don't get upset with me, darling. Dinshaji is a very nice fellow. Just resumed work after his sickness and still looking piku-pikash, white as a ghost. He needs our company and some of your tasty cooking. The fragrance of basmati rice filled the kitchen as she opened the pot and squeezed a grain between thumb and finger. She slammed shut the lid. No fonder of Gustav's friends. Dinshaw had joined the bank 6 years before Gustav. That gave him 30 unbroken years of service, he often said, proudly and uncomplainingly. Whatever the situation called for. He was older than Gustav. He did not preclude the fellowship that had grown between them. It was a sort of bond peculiar to such institutions, nurtured from strength by the dryness and mustiness native to the business of banks. Gustav found the 2 jars and emptied the snacks into small bowls before noticing that one was chipped, the other had a crack, eliminated by light brown residue. Never mind. No fuss or formalities needed for good old Dinshaji. Now for the drink. He held out his hand. It's such an honor for me to come to dinner. In return, Dilnawaz bestowed upon him the tiniest of her smiles. He turned again to Gustav. I think the last time I was here was 7 or 8 years ago, when you were in bed after the accident. 9 years. Gustav told me you were not well, said Dilnawaz politely, diluting her haughtiness. How are you feeling now? Absolutely first class, everything tip-top. Just look at my red cheeks. Dinshaji pinched both sides of his waxen face as one would a baby. The sickly skin retained the imprint of his digits for a long time. Chalo, time for drink, said Gustav. Please, Dinshaji, a glass of cold water for me. No, a proper drink, no arguments. There is golden eagle, also some rum. Okay, if you insist. Golden eagle. Gustav poured the beer as Dilnawaz disappeared into the kitchen. They settled down with their drinks. Cheers. Ah, said Dinshaji, after taking a large swallow and exhaling. That was nice. Much nicer than visiting you in bed with your fracture. Somehow, remember how I used to come every Sunday to give you my personal bank bulletin, bring you up to date? I always said you would have had a reporter instead of a bank teller. What days those were. Yeah, what fun we used to have. Dinshaji touched the corners of his lips to wipe the foam. Parsis were the kings of banking in those days. Such respect we used to get. Now the whole atmosphere has been spoiled. Ever since that Indira nationalized the bank, Gustav stopped up Dinshaji's glass. Nowhere in the world has nationalization worked. What can you say to idiots? Believe me, said Dinshaji, she is a shrewd woman. These are vote-getting tactics, showing the poor she's on their side. Sally always up to some mischief. Remember when her pappy was Prime Minister and he made her President of Congress Party? At once he began encouraging the demands for a separate Maharashtra. How much bloodshed, how much rioting she caused. And today, we have that bloody Shivsena wanting to make the rest of us into second-class citizens. Don't forget, she started it all by supporting the racist buggers. Dinshagi mopped his head and left the handkerchief draped over one knee. Gustav rose to switch on the ceiling fan. That rioting was the time when Madiwala's sandbags were around my legs. That's right, you never got to see the big procession at Flora Fountain, every day fighting in some mortar or the other. He took a quick swallow of beer. In the bank, we thought our innings were over when those gundas broke the windows, even the thick glass of the main entrance. There goes our bonus, I thought. They were shouting, Parsi crow eaters, we'll show them who is the boss. And you know that Guvarnigan from Ledger Department, you know what he did? Gustav shook his head. Guvarnigan was a morose and lugubrious elderly employee named Ratan Shah. But the nickname had stuck ever since the day a young fellow, part-time and temporary with nothing to do, insolently asked him why he went around with a face like an owl's arse. Now, in private, people always refer to Ratan Shah as Guvarnigan or Ratan Shah Guvar, if they were being polite. Take a guess, yaar, said Dinshagi. What do you think he did? Yeah. First, Guvarnigan told people not to panic. It was just a few gundas. But as things got hotter, he covered his head with his white hanky and began doing his kasti. Loudly, like a Dasuji in the fire temple. Afterwards, some of the chaps were teasing him non-stop to take it up as a full-time job, that he would earn much more. Dinshagi dabbed his forehead again and fanned himself with a kerchief while Gustav laughed. He wiped around the neck under his collar. But really, we all thought our number was up. Thank God those two Pathans doing chowki at the entrance. I used to think they were nothing but decorations with their uniforms and turbans with shiny rifles. Solid fellows, said Gustav. What a smart salute they give when the big shots pass by. Yes, but because of the Pathans and their guns, all those Sakarams and Datarams and Tukarams only stood outside screaming like fishwives. If they came close, one of the Pathans stamped his foot, and at once they went in reverse gear. Dinshagi demonstrated with his size 12 naughty boys from Bata, making the beer bottles vibrate on the seaboard. He had enormous feet for a man on the short side. Bump. That's all. And the Maratha brigade ran like cockroaches. He took a long draught and set down the glass. Lucky for us that just as the bloody cockroaches were getting braver, the police came. What a day it was, yes. Dinshagi wiped his forehead once more, then neatly folded the handkerchief and put it away, content with the ceiling fan. One question, may I ask? Sure, speak. Why is this black paper covering all the windows? You remember the war with China, said Gustav? But was spared from explaining further because the two boys and Roshan entered the room and said Saibji to Dinshagi. Hello, he said, delighted to see them. My God, how tall you've grown. Are Roshan, you were this big. Only one billu when I last saw you. And he extended his hand with a thumb and little finger outstretched. Hard to believe, no? Happy birthday to the birthday girl, and congratulations for Saurabh, the IIT genius. Saurabh ignored him and glared at his father. Have you told the whole world about it already? Behave yourself, said Gustav under his breath. Facing the sideboard where he was opening a beer bottle, his voice could be heard plainly, but turning away provided the opportunity to pretend otherwise. Saurabh persisted. You keep boasting to everyone about IIT, as if you were going there yourself. I'm not interested in it. I've already told you. Don't give me any idiotic lunatic talk. God knows what has happened to you in the last few days.